Just a perfect day.
Drink sangria in the park. And then later,
When it gets dark,
we go home.
Welcome to the Weekly Soap, the show where we talk about whatever the heck we like. I'm Grant.
Hi, Grant.
What is
I'm
this?
I'm Josh. I'm done.
Like that. And today we're talking about Hi, Grant. Hi, Grant. I hope we're more fun to listen to than AA. and I'm a Sony user.
How long have you been experiencing your withdrawals, Grant?
Well, this podcast is about the PlayStation 4, in case you didn't catch on. Not about my non-existent
Addiction to gaming?
Well, my addiction to gaming, yeah. So today we're talking about the PS4, and before we get started... AA.
Addiction to assholes.
I think that's something else. I think that's probably a different site that we probably shouldn't be referencing, but before we get started here, I just want to throw out that Dylan owns a PS4, I own a PS4, and Josh and JJ are thinking about getting a PS4 in the future. They probably will, but we're just here to, just generally talk about why a PS4 and what are we excited for. So
yeah, I've had mine for over half a year because I got mine on launch day, actually midnight launch. And
now, Dylan, I have to ask you a question. What kind of people go to video game console midnight launch?
Well, you see,
I'm picturing you and 50-year-old men with beards.
No,
it's
hilarious. Like some of them, I feel mean for saying this, but some of them were so big they had to sit down the entire time, and when they said time to get in line, so we got in line according to our number, and I was 22 or something like that, and these people kind of got up, and I'm standing in line between a few of them, and I hear
Was it a Dementor?
pretty much. I was getting scared.
The PS4 is sucking your soul,
Yeah,
Harry.
I was gonna be ripped out of the train.
So how'd your PS4 work for you when you got it on
It
launch
was
day?
terrible. I had the worst luck ever. I mean, there was something like 1 million units launch, and 10,000 of those supposedly were bad. I got one of them. One of them it wasn't a brick, because there were a few that were just complete bricks. They wouldn't turn on at all. They were just done. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's an HDMI issue. There's a pin, and I'm checking for that. I can't find anything. Mine would just shut off randomly. It'd be 5 minutes, 50 minutes, or I'd be able to play Battlefield for 3 hours and it'd shut off. But for the most part, it was
So one game.
Yeah, but pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, one or two. It's actually Battlefield 4. They did shorten it a little bit.
Well, that's
so
unfortunate.
Yeah, I wanted my 3-hour games, but I don't know. It just, I had some of the worst luck with it, and it would shut off constantly, and I seriously couldn't even do anything on the system because it may or may not have stayed on. And then I sent it into Sony about a week later, and I mean, I had searched the forums up and down. I tried fixing it myself, like I said, HDMI issue and all that other stuff, and I couldn't do it. And no one had any help on the forums, and it was actually fun because everyone was trying to figure it out all at once. So everyone's all right, I figured out that if I unplug the power, plug it in after 30 seconds, and then do a little jig around my house and turn the TV on, then it'll work. But
Praise the Sony gods.
praise the sun! But it's
He wants to make a sacrifice.
it's like Dark Souls. I finally made it to the bonfire. But basically, I gave up after about a week. No one had any idea what was my issue. I went on the Sony forums, and there was 2 other people that had my issue, and their responses to my, post were, yeah, I got that issue too. Thanks for the help with that. So I send it in, and I get another one back from Sony, and this is my luck. I get another one with the exact same problem, and I know it's not the same system because I checked the serial numbers before and after, and they were completely different systems, and I just I was like, screw this, I'm angry, and I called up Sony and I'm like, what the hell? What are you doing? They're like, oh, we're sorry, we'll send you another box. I waited 3 weeks to get mine back.
Please hold.
Yeah. No, I forgot about that. To contact Sony the first time, I sat on hold for 2 hours with my phone, and the best part is, like, the phone sat on my chair, and like I'm sitting there like playing my PlayStation 3. Yep, almost. Like, and
guys, he's still on the phone. No, someone has to take care of him. Yeah.
Here's the waiting music. Silence. So I have no idea what's going on, and then occasionally you can hear. And it would just go away, and it's like, what the hell is going on?
I wish it had Josh's, waiting music.
Yeah, it's like, dun, 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 dun.
What is that? Whenever you call your phone, what is that song? It's like Beethoven's like fifth? What?
It's Josh's sixth.
I will say
what ended up happening is, I contacted Sony, they sent me another box, and I was just like, whatever, I'll see if I can fix it. Because by that time, it had been out for like a month, and some people had some ideas of how to fix stuff, and what I did was I forced the update to go on, and it fixed everything, but getting that update up was so frustrating, because it was like, oh, it's 55% through, shutdown. Oh, it's 40% shutdown. Oh, 98% shutdown. Did that to me twice. Okay.
I like to think your PS4 is just screwing with you.
No, like, I was like, look,
guys, how far can we go?
We'll give him hope.
I have one question.
Yeah.
I know I already know the answer to this, but were you ever considering getting the Xbox One?
No. Are you serious? I want the Kinect in my living room, like, just looking at me, like,
Staring at you
sinister.
longingly.
I was like, no, it's like, the NSA is watching me.
I will
Please
say
play me again.
that, like, for example, John and I, we used to be really big into the 360, right? We really like the social features and whatnot. But when they announced the Xbox One, they screwed up.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it was incredible. And
Sony's response was perfect.
We aren't Xbox One.
Yeah. And so by the time that like came out, I'm like, yeah, look, this system's $100 cheaper and directed at gaming.
Well, it's like, that's the thing, because both systems, I've looked a lot at both systems, and the Xbox One, I give it a lot of shit, but it's a really, really, really nice system. Mm-hmm. What took it away from me is Xbox and Microsoft are like, we're going to focus on a living room console. And that's all fine and dandy, but it's like, PlayStation's going to do most of that stuff, and it kind of seems gimmicky, so I'm not that big on it. Sony was the complete opposite. They're like, we're going to focus on the gamer, and that comes first, and then we'll, do, CD support and USB support and all that other stuff. That's later. We're going to focus on that later. And as a result, they had a system that was just a little bit more powerful, not that much. It was more in the GPU and the RAM. But for the most part, it wasn't that big of a deal. But Microsoft, they also, completely steered me away when they said, we have 500 gigs. Each game takes up about 40 gigs. And yeah, you can't replace that hard drive. If you do, you void the warranty. And it's like, so if I wanted to put a 2 terabyte hard drive in and just, be worry-free for the next few years, I couldn't do that. No. But we do support eventually, which it took them till a month or two ago to do it. They do now support external hard drives, and it's like, I don't want an external hard drive sitting on top of my system, especially since the system is a block. It's heavy. It literally is your.
Does it get the GameCube run for its money?
Yeah.
You can throw and concuss people with?
No, it probably destroys itself, if you even attempt touching it. But I'm saying it's heavy. It's a big, it's basically a cable box, and that's what it's trying to double as. I wasn't sold. Sony, on the other hand, is like, oh, you want to replace your hard drive? Here, we'll even show you how in the instructions. It's on top. You slide the panel to the left, and it's right there.
I will say
Bravo,
that
Sony.
I think Sony learned a lot about the PS3.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think they made a lot of... that's why we got into the 360s, because the PS3 was so expensive. It lacked... there was already Gears of War and Halo pretty much before anything on the PS3 was worth getting.
PlayStation
I got
came
it
out
for
later.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. that shows how long that lasts. But I think they learn from their mistake. Yeah, I don't like Ratchet and Clank.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
Ratchet and Clank. It was awesome.
Wrong.
Yeah.
I'll just come out and say that. But I think like they learn from their mistakes and they knew what gamers want, and that's what made me go for them. And when I picked up the console, I had literally it was the easiest install, easiest thing, no issue whatsoever.
You're lucky.
I mean, it was. I had no problem. The only problems I have is the game library isn't quite there, and maybe
someday you'll
to give you an idea how far off the game library is Josh and I decided to platinum Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Hey, you're not even
best
playing.
launch game ever.
Yeah, that is the killer app, people. There'll be Halo, there'll be Killzone, Lego Marvel.
But playing as Iron Man, whatever Mach you want to be.
That was Mark 47.
No, it was 42.
It's always
you're right.
Josh is right.
Do you remember when we tried to buy Iron Man suits and we hit the wrong one and buy a different suit? Be like, no!
This one can't fly.
Why would you have an Iron Man that can't fly? But I mean that game library, and which kind of brings us to the meat of the discussion here, is pretty abysmal at this point. I mean I don't know, I don't remember your launch game, Dylan, but
mine was Battlefield and Resogun essentially.
Yeah, I mean Resogun was a free download,
and it was awesome.
It is awesome. I had Killzone Shadowfall, which I've touched a little bit. Wasn't that impressed by the multiplayer.
I have it. I haven't even put it in my system yet. I've had it since Christmas, essentially.
And then there's Injustice, which is literally like the worst port I've ever seen in the PS4. It's the exact same game.
It's got even worse graphics.
It really might.
No, that was a joke.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, they're exactly the same.
They are. There's no improvement.
The only benefit is that you get all the DLC.
Which is a trophy, and that's why I have more percentage than Josh.
As long as Catwoman's in the game, it's a good port to me.
We do say that it had no launch games, but at least it wasn't a issue, like such a big issue. Like I was in the bad, unlucky people of the 10,000, but for the most part, it was a pretty uneventful launch. Like there weren't a whole lot of problems with the PS4 when it launched, and that's something, Just look at your Xbox 360. When it first came out, there was a problem with the hard drives actually melting to the system. And it's like, you never tested that? Like, you never left it on for more than 6 hours?
Like I said,
do you know gamers?
Yeah.
John and I went probably in the lifespan of a 360, went through 10 of them between us. And the thing is, it would be like every couple of years. And then it's like, well, I guess we'll just play Mario Kart now.
Well, yeah, John gets rid of it. Spends a week playing Mario Kart.
Gets rid of Mario. Like,
Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
is an incredible game. But, I mean, to me, JJ and Josh, let's hear a little bit about you guys. You did not get the PS4 at launch, which we'll talk about that in a bit, like if that was a good move or not. But why do you guys want a PS4 coming up here?
Well, so the PS4 is just definitely the new system. I'm sure after a while the PS3 might be a little obsolete. I don't know. They're already starting to take down, old online
servers. The servers are going down. But here's the thing: Sony has been notorious. I won't say notorious, but they're well known for being really supportive of their old consoles, which is great. I mean, the last PS2 game was made like 2 years ago.
No,
That's impressive.
That's not true. Me and Josh looked this up. There was a PS2 game that came out last year.
Yeah.
Wow. FIFA. FIFA is still coming out on the PlayStation 2, and we have a PS4.
Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Sony's really good about that. Will it decline? Less games are going to be made? Sure, but look at when the PS3 came out. Some of the best IPs were launched on the PS2 during that time. Best example, God of War.
Okay.
Came out after the PS3's launch. Shadow of the Colossus, I'm pretty positive, actually also came out on the PS2 after the PS3 was launched.
Mm-hmm. So there's definitely still value in you don't need to get one right away. But I'm also really looking forward to the just if my friends are all getting it, if you guys are all getting it, it'd be nice to play that with you and go and chat with you.
Battlefield,
which is something that I love. Is because that was a huge reason I got a 360 was cross-party chat.
Exactly.
I mean, that was something the PS3, I can't believe they didn't capitalize on.
The only way we could talk to each other is if we were in the same game lobby of Battlefield. And I think it's going to be absolutely great to go through and, finally do a Skyrim playthrough like 4 years too late, but, still be able to talk to my homies.
Skyrim, really?
I don't know, Josh.
That's your example?
Come on!
Josh, why are you looking to get a PS4? I'm assuming it's a lot of the same reasons as JJ, but...
I am a PS man, though. I got the PS2. I had the PS3. I had the PSP. It only makes sense for me.
So you're brand loyal.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess I'm a little bit.
Are you guys? Because I'm really not.
My only other console was the N64,
Which
you
got
got recently.
No. I had one, but I sold it to get to the PS2.
Joshua.
Parents' decision, bro.
Okay.
They bought it for me, bro.
All right.
But then now I have another one, so all is well.
Well,
Bro's
So
decision.
so I'm Sony all the way through, though.
I started out. I've been playing video games since I was a little kid. I learned later that my dad actually would take the controller port for the Sega Genesis and plug it into the drawer underneath and pretend like I was playing. So when I was 1 and 2 years old, I was doing that, and I remember playing Mortal Kombat 2 and Rocket Knight Adventures and all those, and Sonic. And then we got the PlayStation 1, and it was right at that era where I was just old enough to play video games, and I played Frogger and Driver and all that stuff, but I hit my peak video game with the PlayStation 2. But I've had every PlayStation console that there is, except for the PS Vita, which I consider getting one, just because supposedly the remote play works pretty well.
That's actually someone I work with at Little Caesars tells me that it actually is a spot-on remote play. So their girlfriend can watch Netflix and they're still playing a PS4 game and it runs really well.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised to hear that. But so we kind of addressed that there's a lack of game library, and right now the Xbox One does have Titanfall, which people are saying probably is the best next-gen game right now. So why stay with the PS4?
This is what I hear actually about Titanfall. A lot of people say Titanfall is amazing, it's so good, and then 20 hours after playing it, they're like, it's alright, I'm gonna go play this other game again.
I mean, that's 20 hours of an online multiplayer. That's not bad.
It still is, but it's
hours.
I've already put in 32 to Battlefield 4, and I'm really enjoying it still. It's kind of from what I understand, it gets dull really quick. So, is it a killer app for the, Xbox One? I don't think it is.
Why wouldn't they have a story, though? Why is it only multiplayer?
I think
that's a huge flaw for a game.
They don't care enough about quality.
I disagree.
I'm going to go against that because
look at Battlefield 4.
They should have just gotten rid of it. Yeah, look how many stupid FPS Call of Duty's Battlefield single players we get. I would rather have them put that development time into a multiplayer and just perfect that and
you talk about Call of Duty and we don't really
we don't play and
nowadays,
that's true.
But I'm just saying the stories are actually pretty good for Call of Duty rather than the multiplayer. Because
I'd rather play the stories on Call of Duty than the multiplayer any day of the week.
But
I mean that's just an example.
Unless it's split screen, Modern Warfare 1. The Crash.
Of course.
What is the best PS4 game right now? Is it Infamous Second Son? I have not played Second Son, so that's my disclaimer.
I have not played it either, so it's...
I didn't like the first couple Infamouses, though.
I'm backed up in the video game library.
Infamous. I got maybe half an hour into it.
You know what?
I quit it.
Loathe.
Oh,
I loathe it.
Here's the thing.
Hopefully
it's
Ethan can't hear
it's
us.
not a bad game, and I remember buying it actually on the day it came out, and I played it, and I remember the first stage because it's in 3 or 4 stages. The first stage is so dull, dry, boring. Character development is unneeded because your characters suck. And
that's where I dropped it.
But you get shot
bullshit
all the time. You can't. You'd be like, I'll be at the grocery store, and they'd be like, it's that guy. I was like, oh my god,
I'm just a normal citizen. No, it's
even if you're not the emperor and you're the good guy.
If you're a good guy, they're shooting at you, JJ. They're trying to terminate. Oh my god!
Apparently, I didn't get far enough into that game.
But basically, once you get to the second island. You start, you build up your power a little bit, and suddenly you're like, I can fight back. And you just kill everything that moves.
Bow to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when you turn red. Your skin turns red, Ethan's character, and you're basically shooting lightning, hey! But
as well.
Man.
Can I get a Waluigi grant?
we will have a different podcast. Why Waluigi's the best Mario Kart character later.
That is not true. All the way.
Now these games though are coming out. But I mean, we finally have Watch Dogs.
And you know what? It's really funny because I'm looking at Watch Dogs right over
Yeah,
here.
I don't think any of us have played it. But
I hear reviews on Watch Dogs. It's very like people are saying it's not killer.
It's
app.
good.
A disappointment.
I think that's it.
For
It's,
people who've been following it since it was announced a few years ago, it's like, why? You promised so much! At least, I guess, it's not as bad as, I guess, what Fable was. I guess Fable was like the biggest disappointment ever. But I hear it's a decent game. I also hear that I don't feel like spending $60 on it, and
exactly. I mean, I've read some reviews and it's like, yeah, it's good, but that's all it is.
yeah,
It's
not
it's
this
up to you
killer,
whether you want to
like,
$60.
you want to
or
know
not.
a launch game that was actually really fun though? That was Ubisoft. It was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Me and Daniel have been playing this game,
meh.
and I know we all got burnt by AC3. It was a rough one there.
It was garbage.
It was garbage. But AC4 actually is a pretty dang fun game. And on the PS4, I think the water looks awesome. I know it sounds like a really weird thing.
You know what has better water?
Battlefield
4.
Battlefield 4. But
Okay, go find the Mastodon.
we kind of, we're talking about that, like, Watch Dogs is a disappointment. That's not a killer app. Infinite Second Son doesn't really draw on the interest. What game, we have E3 around the corner here. What games are you looking forward on the PS4?
I just want Fallout 4! Give it to me! No!
You want it though.
Half-Life 3! I've been waiting!
Last Guardian.
Actually, I did hear...
Last Guardian got canceled.
No, because I went
No.
back to the same news story that
No.
said it's been uncanceled again.
What?
No, this might be the year of the Last Guardian! Bold
Now-
prediction for E3, Last Guardian is finally announced to come out with a release
It
date.
hasn't been confirmed or anything. So.
What
No,
is
it
this game?
hasn't.
What is
I-
Alright,
to the
Shadow
new...
the Colossus and Ico,
Yeah.
there's a game that comes after that called The Last Guardian, and it was announced like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, every year
they
people are
had
like,
trailers for it and everything.
Yeah.
It's just
It looks really good.
where is this game? But E3, Arkham Knight, obviously.
I mean,
everybody loves the Batman games.
Yeah.
I
the
mean,
thing,
what can
it
go
got
wrong?
delayed, but at the same time, Last of Us got delayed. BioShock Infinite.
Last of Us got delayed?
Yeah, Last of Us was a delay. It was supposed to be a 2012 game.
You know what else
Oh,
got
no,
delayed?
I thought you meant for the PS4.
No,
though. I'm like,
no.
that's delayed.
You know what else
again.
got delayed? Watch Dogs got delayed. And
Like,
how did
But
that turn out?
you know what? Maybe if Watch
Horribly.
Dogs hadn't gotten delayed, it would have been a broken game. You know what I mean? Like, it gives developers time to work on it. I think we all agree that we want Arkham Knight to be incredible.
The biggest
Take
issue...
your time, Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I have full faith in Rocksteady. I lost faith in Ubisoft a long time ago.
I'm getting with you
And
there.
it's kind of like, right when Revelations hit, I was kind of like, you guys really are letting me down right now. Or Ubisoft Montreal as well.
Well,
No.
Ubisoft, but I think Assassin's Creed Unity actually looks good though.
Well, we've only seen a minute trailer.
No,
for
I
that.
thought
That is
Assassin's
true, but I'm
Creed
just
3
saying.
looked really good. I remember
Yeah.
them talking about how they're going to have so many people on screen at one time, it's going to be impressive. And it was like, those sequences, there was like 3.
Or when you're like, oh man, there's a wilderness for you to explore. It changes with the seasons. You'll want to be there. Everyone fast traveled it. It was so boring.
And it was super boring, yeah.
Or you're like, hey, I want to play Assassin's Creed and, jump over the rooftops, but since, there's muskets and rifles, I couldn't even climb a story without
And
dying.
really, it's the buildings were maybe like 30 in a town, so it's not
Yeah.
really a town.
Yeah.
So I have a list of games in front of me because it's kind of hard just to pull anything other than Arkham Knight out of our head.
And we can talk about Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, I am
Because
so
I've
excited
been
for
waiting
that.
for that game since the PS2.
We're not going to see that till 2016.
That's okay. I just want
I
it.
disagree with you, Dylan. I think we'll see it in 2015 when Episode 7 comes out. Like, maybe right before Episode 7, there'll probably be a massive Star Wars hype build, and then we'll see Battlefront.
It might
Because
be
they're-
the year
they-
after, and the reason why I say that is because last year when they came up to E3, they showed us a trailer, and all that was it was saying, yeah, we haven't done anything with it yet. We're just kind of telling you we're making Battlefront, so get excited.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And it worked.
No, I'm not taking anything away from it. I love Battlefront, but I can see it going away. I mean, it's just like Fallout 4. Bethesda already came out and said, yeah, we're shooting that down. Fallout 4 is not getting announced this year. And I wanted to cry in a corner because, you know.
Well, I'm going to go 2015, though. That's my prediction.
I think I'm with you.
And
every game has been delayed. It'll get delayed till 2016. Every game.
But if it's good, it's worth the wait.
Another game I'm looking at that looks really interesting is something called Evolve. And if you guys don't know what this is,
Nope.
It's a game where someone is the monster and you're hunting your teammates.
Oh, Evolve!
It's only next gen, and it's
it's
made by the people who did Left 4 Dead.
It's Valve and not Valve. Valve is probably
it's like Turtle
publishing
something.
It. Yeah, but basically it looks really, really, really well done, and it's not gonna be like quick time events to take this big boss down, which is awesome. Well, basically, he said it's a big monster. What it is you start out and you have a few people, 3 or 4, and they're working together to kill this monster, which one guy is playing the monster. As time progresses, the monster gets more and more and more powerful. And I think supposedly bigger. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But basically, eventually becomes, just a god mode thing. And they are talking about how balanced it is, even with that. And I'm just like, this sounds amazing, because they make it so the people can actually have a fighting chance against it. And like I said, there's supposedly not quick time events.
The thing that sold me on it is the studio's well, it's been a while since we've come out of the game. But the thing is, we wanted to wait till next gen because the camouflage and the atmospheres wouldn't you could tell where the monster would be at on a 360 or PS3. They're we wanted
so
a PS4.
it'd actually be hiding in the woods.
Yeah, it's only next gen. So I think that's kind of an underdog game that I think you guys should
I don't think it's an underdog. I think that's
think
one
that's
that everyone's gonna know when
Just
it
to
comes
make sure,
out.
Left 4 Dead is that the one where if you shine your flashlight on the witch, she goes crazy on you?
Yeah.
And where
it's the one you're horrible at.
Yeah.
You're the worst Left 4 Dead player I've ever played with.
I shot the ground.
Yeah, no, that was the
You
best
knocked
one.
him down the ground, and you shot left his head, and you got up. You're yeah, I'm so cool.
And then
I'm
also
JJ,
you get
missed.
hit from behind, and you're like, oh, I just killed him! JJ, you shot next to his head. You weren't even close.
That's right. Yeah.
That was a scare. Run away, son.
So this game will be one that, hopefully I've, lasted long enough as the monster so that I can just own you all.
Nice try, buddy.
Oh, okay, alright, yeah, I know.
And then another game that, we gotta mention for next gen is Destiny. It's got a huge budget. It's Bungie.
I can't
we
wait.
all love Bungie.
I love Bungie.
But
Supposedly
its
has Peter
budget's
Dinklage.
500 million right now. Is that right?
That's
No.
a little misleading.
That is basically, from what I took that as, that's overall cost over time.
So, running the servers.
Yeah,
and
running.
everything.
That's what I took it as, the article that I read, which is super misleading because they're saying this is going to be World of Warcraft, and it's World of Warcraft is currently it's really high up.
I think
but
it's 200 million.
But they count what they're doing is it's even higher than that. But they're trying to count all the time they put into after costs, doing more stuff for DLC and all that stuff.
Right.
That's the article that I read. Other people are no, this budgeted for 500 million. It's that doesn't even make sense. The highest budgeted game was Grand Theft Auto 5. That holds the record right now. It's 240 or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's crazy high, and it's well, it made it, so...
So, JJ, I don't know how much you know about Destiny. You've been
not a whole
playing Bungie Halo games for the better part of the last year.
Right.
And what Destiny is the idea is it's kind of a massive online world within, you're all in the same community. So you could be trying to go across this massive open world to go to your mission, and you might just accidentally walk into a team deathmatch in the middle of a city on your way there. Or,
It's an
things
MMO.
like that. It's awesome.
So, RuneScape.
And it has Tyrion Lannister in it, too.
Who?
Tyrion, Peter
Okay,
Dinklage is one of the main
yeah,
voice
alright.
actors in this game.
Oh, sweet.
I am
Yes!
hyped for it.
No, that sounds awesome. I know that Bungie's been talking about it, and
I just want to see more. That's it. though.
I don't want to see
You don't
more.
want to see more?
I'm
Because
one of
that's
those
so
people that
big.
likes to see nothing and then wait for it to come out and just get the basic premise of what it is and then go play it and be like, oh,
It has been
surprised
confirmed though for E3, so,
So-
if you wanted to see it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
well, of course it's a
And honestly,
Yeah.
when this is edited and coming out, I'm actually pretty sure E3 is already it's going to happen this week. We're talking before we see all this E3 footage. So these are games we're like speculate on that we know exist.
So with Destiny, you're saying that the single player, like when you're playing single player, it is also multiplayer. Like there's no game lobby for deathmatch or something.
You're all in the same world, man.
How do you organize like a team deathmatch?
It's probably the same thing as Red Dead Redemption, except instead of being transported to another place, it just goes right there. So like when you played Red Dead, you run around the world and it's like, all right, join this team deathmatch thing right here. Mm-hmm. You could do that.
Okay.
That's what I get. Like I said, I haven't done anything.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, I think Destiny's it's coming out in the fall for sure, and I think that's a game that looks pretty awesome.
I want The Witcher 3.
That's
I want
2015
it so much. I know, and it got delayed, and that's why I'm saying like Battlefront, everything has been delayed. Destiny got delayed. Like this current release date was not what they intended. Every single game has been delayed. It's like Drive Club. Yeah, it's gonna be there for the launch. We'll be good to go. Yeah, we actually fired the creative director, and we're redoing the entire game.
But still supposedly coming out this year, mind you.
Really?
I wouldn't mind getting Destiny delayed again, so when I buy my PS4
I want it now. I've been waiting.
No.
I think
when I get my PS4, Josh. I want it.
Following
I don't
Destiny,
want people to be good at it.
I don't want people to be better than me. I think another game you gotta look at is MGS5, like the actual MGS5, the Phantom Pain. Now I know the Metal Gear Solid, some of us like it, some of us are like JJ.
And I never really played it.
The first game I ever got on the PlayStation 3, just never got to it.
You gotta check it out sometime.
You know what, though? I think if you haven't played it at this point, like, don't. Because, like, to me, the story is so connected to the other ones, that like, for MGS4, that it's, you know what I mean? It feels a lot off, like,
in a way, that was the first, like, I played MGS3, and, I really enjoyed it, but it was always kind of just goofy playing around, like, I never actually played much of the story. MGS4 was my first Metal Gear Solid, and I loved it. It was such a well-put-together game, and it was something that impressed the hell out of me. Coming out on the PlayStation 3, it was like, I got the PlayStation 3 a couple, probably a year after it came out, a year or two after it came out, and I didn't get MGS4 till 2 years after that. And I ended up playing it, I'm like, this looks better than some games that have just come out.
Yeah.
They do a really, really, really good job, which is why I'm so excited. And MGS, 5 is my number one game behind Fallout 4 because I'm just a fanboy. But MGS 5 is seriously, I can't wait.
I mean, I hear they're promising like an incredible open world.
They literally said like we're actually a little scared that people won't be able to finish our game.
So why would that?
Because it's just
so big.
I mean, to me, I think me and you have talked about this, JJ. When you get an RPG, it's really hard to put like 50 hours into a game in our schedule.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like building a character, beating the story. I'll be honest, I don't beat many RPGs. I have not beaten Skyrim, and I put a decent amount of time in it.
I have like 196 hours.
Yeah, I didn't beat Fallout 3. I just eventually something else comes out, and that's what I play. It's just so hard to put that many hours. So that's kind of what they're saying is this might be too massive.
Yeah, the games that, I guess I am sort of drawn towards are the, 15-hour gameplays that allow me to actually finish the game in about half a year or so.
You talk about open world. I thought the perfect one was like you could have like a BioShock or you could have Arkham City.
Oh, okay.
It's still kind of open world, but it's kind of directed.
It just, I think that's a really good point, Josh.
Because, you have Skyrim. Skyrim's so big, I didn't do everything. I beat the game, but it was just like, I didn't touch it after that.
Dylan, what do you think we're seeing Phantom Pain? We saw Ground Zeroes, which is kind of like this prologue thing they released as a cash grab.
And it was
2 hours long.
So you be quiet.
And
quiet
Dylan
yourself.
bought it.
I did I played it. I played it. I loved it. No, it showed
when are we
me.
Seeing Phantom Pain?
What?
When are we seeing Phantom Pain, though?
Next year.
You think that's a 2015?
End of the next year.
See, I think that one's going to be 2016 just because of how much they're talking about it.
End of next year. It's been in development for a long, long, long time.
But everything's being delayed, Dylan.
It is, and it was delayed already, so I don't care.
I do have a question about that. If they've been, in development for a really, really long time, like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One...
PlayStation 4 development kits went out years.
Okay,
before
so when companies are
actually
like planning games for like the next gen,
That's
Okay.
what I loved about Sony is they actually went around when they were making the PS4 and said to all these developers, what do you want in a console?
Okay.
That's why it's such a well put together console, and that's why a lot of developers, like take CD Projekt Red that's making Witcher 3, they said that their game runs better on PS4 because it was easier to work on. They basically made a system that has a lot of RAM,
Okay.
which it has the best RAM you can technically get, which is GDDR5, and compared to DDR3, which is what the Xbox One uses. But it's kind of like, it's one of those things of, because they did that, a lot of these places are finding it a lot easier to work on the system.
Okay.
And as far as like game companies working on it, I want to say development kits went out earlier, and it's like even if they didn't, a lot of these places were making their games for like computer. And
Okay.
computer is constantly evolving, so if they just, made it and then they can upgrade it a little bit after that, it still works.
So it's not like they have to like reshape their entire code.
They
or
did
anything.
for PlayStation 3, and that's why it was
okay.
such a bitch.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Plus, that's how you get launch titles too, JJ. You
Well,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
no,
Like,
I
you
was
have to
just
send this
wondering-
out years in advance to get a launch title.
Well, obviously they're
adequate.
launch titles. I was just wondering like
Yeah.
how game companies would do it that fast, but so they're definitely working on it
Oh,
well
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you also have to take into account like they're doing their art design and everything else, and they can still do a lot of things without coding it.
Okay.
So that, you have to come up with a story, who's going to voice act, and all this other stuff. There's a lot of different things you have to do for a video game before you can bring it out, and coding it's a big part, but it's something that you can do in like once you're
Closer
done
towards
with,
the yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I wouldn't say closer towards the end, but it's not something you have to start out doing.
Okay.
So, speaking of games that are having pretty long and shaky developments, we have Uncharted 4 and The Order 1886. Now, I don't know if you've heard about Uncharted 4, JJ. I know
No.
all of us love Naughty Dog games.
Neither of those. two
I
games.
love Uncharted 1, 2, and Last of Us.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we're not gonna.
And Jack and Daxter, all of them.
In Uncharted 4, what they came out with was Uncharted. Like they had this teaser trailer, right? Teaser trailer.
Teaser Taylor.
Yeah, showed it on my tongue. They had this teaser trailer, and it showed a map. It had a voiceover, and at the end it said created by Amy Henning, I believe, and Justin Richmond. It's these two people. And then in the next couple months, all these people quit Naughty Dog, the two main creators of Uncharted, and the main game developers, and like the creative directors, the voice actor on that trailer, like everyone's out of the project.
And like the person who actually came up with Nathan Drake is gone.
Yes.
And so it's like the Nathan Drake better not be a part of the story because it's gone. But good news. I just saw it. Last of Us. The creators of Last of Us have taken over the Uncharted 4 project.
Oh,
and
have
it's
they?
official.
That's
Yes.
actually really good news.
So
though.
that's really, really, really good news.
because like it's pretty alarming when you see a mass exodus from a studio.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was probably like producer and creative decisions that led to that. It's behind the scenes, and honestly, we'll probably never know what it is. But
it'll be
we
like
will
The
see
Last
Uncharted.
Guardian.
Yeah.
We won't hear about it in 10 years.
Well, I'm looking at the list right now. We're gonna see Uncharted 4 at E3. I'm gonna say it's a 2016 release though, and they haven't confirmed anything. We don't know if Nathan Drake's is in it because it's not even being called Uncharted 4. It's just being called Uncharted right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So all those people that left were a part of
Yes.
Naughty Dog.
Yes.
And they were like the creators of the previous games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So The Last of Us
basically
crew is taking
Uncharted
over.
wasn't Uncharted.
Oh wow.
So there's some major
Wait,
things.
what'd you say, Dylan?
Basically Uncharted wasn't Uncharted anymore.
Okay.
Like it's gone.
I mean, I have huge faith in Naughty Dog 'cause they haven't made a bad game. We might have disagreements with Uncharted 3, but it's still a good game.
It's a good game. It's just
It's not awesome.
It's not a 10 out of 10, Greg Miller.
It's no Uncharted 2.
But I mean, so that we're gonna see that at E3 supposedly. But I'm really curious what they come out with because I mean, they fired a voice actor that they had in their trailer and all like the creative directors. I know that Naughty Dog's probably like, but we never should have released that trailer ever.
Was the voice actor Drake though?
No, it was a villain. It's just a random guy.
All right.
Like I said, there's no confirmation Nathan Drake is even the main character in this game. It's not being called Uncharted 4 or whatever. It's being called Uncharted.
I want Atlantis. Just a side note, I want Atlantis. I've been saying that since like the second one came out, and I'm just like, bring me Atlantis.
You know what I was talking with John about that I actually would love to see is if we get a new protagonist and Nathan Drake plays the Sully role. Like he's an older guy and he's like the mentor, and you get like a new story while Nathan Drake's kind of like in this lovable role. I think that'd be a really cool way to like bring it to next gen.
And then it's co-op, and you can still play as Nathan Drake.
And Chloe still didn't age for some reason.
Every game, yes.
But the other game there is, and this is a pretty big exclusive, it's called The Order 1886. And it's been delayed to 2015. Catching a theme here?
You said exclusive, so PlayStation 4.
It is a PS4 exclusive. Right. And it's made by
and it's a new IP, which is awesome.
What's that mean?
It means it's a new...
There's no prequel. It's starting its franchise.
It's brand new.
And, like, they delayed it till 2015. It's made by Santa Monica, who I believe has helped with the God of War series, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they help with, like...
Santa Monica?
Yeah.
I believe that's God of War.
Isn't that God of War? Okay. And, like, it takes place in Victorian England, and you hunt werewolves, is what the trailer is.
And it's steampunk.
So, what do you mean by that?
You ever seen Dishonored?
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of got that art style.
Okay.
Yeah, so, that's a game keep your eye out for. I hear, like...
I am excited for that game.
I am, too. But from what I hear, like... the footage they showed to like game people, it was so glitchy and bad that it was earlier in 2014. They're like, there's no way this is coming out, and then it got delayed like 6 months later. So I hope that it stays, awesome looking. I'm with Dylan though. A new IP is awesome. And I think with E3 coming up, we are going to see a bunch of new IPs.
We're going to see a ton from Sony.
Yes.
And this is like something that I'm so excited for E3 because Sony came out and said, we have something like 30 exclusive games for, PlayStation 4. And I, blew my mind and I'm like, oh wait, indie titles. So, 25 of those are going to be indie titles, but
now that the Xbox One has taken the Kinect out, and they are at the same price.
Oh yeah.
So both of them are in the situation where at the same price we offer both really good systems that run well. What's the separation? It's going to be games. And they both know that coming into E3. So we're probably going to see some awesome titles between the time we record this and the time this goes up.
So the games we talked about already...
they are confirmed to exist.
But Sony still has their conference that they're going to do. And that's where they're going to bring a bunch of stuff to the table where they're like, yeah, here's a new one. I remember actually, I'm hoping that Bethesda was lying. Yes, I'm a fanboy, Fallout. But, I remember seeing the Skyrim announcement one. Came out of nowhere. I had no idea it was coming at all. And, it just kind of popped up, and it's some old guy talking, So you see a dragon, and you're like, what the hell? Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. With a release date, too. 11/11/11. And it was oh, damn! And then Uncharted 3 was oh, shit. And made theirs 11/1/11.
Whoa!
Yeah. I mean, E3 is, for us nerds, it's so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
The last game I'm going to talk about, we're skimming over a couple here, Mirror's Edge, I don't really know much about. I know that's a really big title.
No, when it came out, it had mixed reviews, and then kind of got a cult following later. And I just picked it up recently because I'm I remember playing a demo and thinking it was fun, but I heard that the rest of the game wasn't that great.
Mirror's Edge 2 is the next gen title coming out. We're skipping over Far Cry 4. Just
it's alright, it's just Skyrim guns.
No, that's Fallout. Shut up.
But the thing with Far Cry 4,
that's not how they.
That's a stupid advertising slogan. I hated that.
It happened.
I mean, we've talked enough about how Ubisoft's burned us, so I don't feel like giving them any more attention in this podcast.
Ubisoft Montreal.
The last game we are talking about here is the Telltale game project, Game of Thrones. I am so pumped for this because Telltale, the last couple of years, has taken off with their writing, and to me, they make some of the most fun, downloadable games there are today. Ever since The Walking Dead Season 1. I love The Wolf Among Us so far. It's fun. The Walking Dead Season 2, I'm going to go ahead and say it is better than Season 1. It is a better experience. It is more interesting and, keeps me more on my edge. It's more about, who Clementine is in this apocalypse. And so now they're well, now we have the IP to Game of Thrones, which we all love Game of Thrones. So I cannot wait for this project.
There's just so many different stories they could tell with this, though. They don't have to follow the show.
But they said it's going to be canon within the universe. But I doubt that they're going to retell a book. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Because that's what the TV show's doing. So they have this entire awesome world, and Telltale's running a story in it, and it's a Game of Thrones game. That makes me really excited.
One thing I have to say about Telltale, they better not do this month on, month off thing.
Oh, I guarantee you they do.
Because that is bullshit.
I guarantee you they do. But
No.
that's just how they release
with
them.
a game, though.
Because the way their studio works now is they do 2 games at once, right? You have for example, The Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead Season 2. You release an episode of each. They've already announced Tale of the Borderlands and Game of Thrones. So they're gonna do. I don't care about Tales of the Borderlands. So they're gonna do 1 episode each. I guarantee you that's how it works. But they've also said that's coming next gen, and I'm excited because one of my biggest issues with like Telltale games on current gen is they're glitchy. You know what I mean? Like Lee Everett's growing another eye, and Clementine's has wings. No, I'm joking, but like I'm really looking forward to the PS4 version.
As far as E3 goes, like I'm still just gonna be excited for what's coming from Sony, and that's my biggest thing for E3. And
I'm excited just from the aspect that like we're gonna see. I think not only is Sony gonna be impressive, I think Microsoft also has to come out firing, and it's just competition. We're gonna really see who tops who here.
Oh yeah,
What about the Wii U?
And that's fun.
What about the Wii U?
You know what? Quick side note about the Wii U. I bet they announced a bunch of exclusives so they can just get a sale. So they can just sell a Wii U other than Mario Kart Super Smash Bros. I bet the Wii U has a good conference.
They might. I do remember seeing an article that said that Sony's, of the exclusives, pretty big majority of them are actual like new IPs, which is impressive. Now, granted, some of those, probably half of them, is indie titles, but I'm really hoping we see something really cool, like Deep Down. I want to see more about Deep Down by Capcom. That looked really interesting from the teaser trailer we got. But it's like, as far as, what's coming out for PS4 and their exclusiveness, there's not really a whole lot right now to justify
We
buying
have so
a
much
PS4.
2015 delays. And I guess that brings us to the big question, the entire podcast. JJ, Josh, when are you guys looking to buy a PS4?
Christmas.
Christmas?
With Arkham Knight being delayed till February, that pretty much just sold me for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm still not sure. I definitely have a, long, big stack of PS3 games that I have not played yet. And so I would like to get through at least a couple more of the ones I was really hoping to get to. And maybe I'll get a PS4 just in time to head off to college, stay in touch with all the friends and use the good party chat system. But it's going to be kind of expensive for a college student to, pull off, and maybe Christmas time will be
Christmas,
better.
JJ. Christmas.
But the parents will probably be like, this is a waste of money. No, let's get some.
Why do your parents sound like the Emperor from Star Wars? This is a waste of money, Skywalker. How dare you get a system?
So maybe if I don't get one before college, I can hope that I'll get one at Christmas time. And if my hopes and dreams are shattered, then maybe I'll just wait for a good, nice bundle to come around with Arkham Knight and, call it a deal.
Honestly, it's kind of like one of those things of, I don't know if getting one right now would be the greatest idea, especially there's not like a whole lot of games to play. But as far as like online play goes, Sony kind of got it right this time.
That's
and
good to
the
hear.
party chat works really well. I love playing Battlefield. Everyone gets on. We have a shit ton of fun with it. With Destiny coming out, I think it's really gonna be just top notch. Like saying, go to the next gen now.
I definitely agree. That's what I'm looking forward to most in this upgrade is with the PS3. Just
I just want Minecraft.
We didn't talk
Which
about
has been
how
out
much
for years.
No.
Which has been out for years.
quiet
We're not
yourself.
talking about Minecraft.
Quiet yourself. That has been delayed. That was actually
my
supposed
God.
to come out the PlayStation 4. And it's been like a year, and I want it now because I love that shit. Man.
I'm going to wrap this up by saying I think Dylan and I are in pretty good agreement that wait to buy a PS4. Just wait for more games.
No, get it now.
Get it now.
Get it
You-
now.
After listening
It's
to this,
my money and I want it now!
that's the most demanding commercial I've ever heard in my life. But I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for listening. It's out on Twitter. And if you want to see our archives, they are in fact on YouTube. Because SoundCloud, they kind of ripped us off. We're not going to pay $130 for it. So, we're not.
They rip us off. They're just normal.
So,
and we have no money.
yeah. What, you mean we don't have a budget? But with that, this is the Weekly Soap signing off. Have a great night.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you. Oh, such a perfect day. You